Okay.
So the whole idea behind this is I'm part of this business coaching group, and they do these really cool sessions where they do check-ins, kind of like what I did with everybody over quarantine. And they have different themes. And I thought that was pretty helpful because we don't always need to set goals every single week. We don't necessarily need to talk about nutrition every single week, unless, like in y'all's case, you two, you guys are nutrition clients. So nutrition clients, we would talk about nutrition every week. But if I have clients that aren't nutrition people, they might not need it every week. So we're going to have a themed week on that. We're going to have a themed week on habits. So I'm going to try to space these out about a week at a time and pick different time slots so that people can kind of hop in. But this might be a little bit rough. It might be all over the place because I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing yet. So anyways, but we're going to try to go over this and see if we can come up with some ideas here. So if you have a pen and paper, you can use it. If you don't have one or you don't want to bother with it, don't worry about it. You can just kind of think through this stuff and we'll kind of chat as we go. So the first thing I want you to do is, this is kind of like a reflection piece. So I know that the last 4 or 5 weeks was part of the crazy time. I mean, it's still crazy now, but the past 4 or 5 weeks is part of the crazy time. I want you to try to think, what were 4 to 5 of your biggest wins in May in relationship to your health and fitness? So you would just jot them down or just think through them in your head. What are some things that you feel like you accomplished? Big things, small things. I mean, if it sticks out to you, write that down. So like for me, I started actually doing the lifts that I write for my group training clients. For me, it made it easier to work out, and I was able to get through all my workouts and not have any pain. So for me, that was a win. So it could be exercise related. Or if you did a better job with sticking to your nutrition stuff, that's a good one too. Or if you reached any milestones, that kind of thing. So Jack and Marlene, since you guys are here, do you have any you want to share?
I got to gain the weight I wanted to lose.
That's not a win. Hey, but you did say that your lifts are improving, so that's good. That's a plus. Yeah. Even though, you don't want the weight on your body, at least the weight's going up on the bar, so there's a win.
Yeah, they're starting to go up.
That's good. All right, Marlene, do you have any?
I'm trying to think because
you're not getting sore anymore.
Well, think about May. So we're already like 5 days into June. Think about like last week and before.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think back, because that's, you're taxing my memory now.
I know. Yeah. Well, it's hard too, because it was like, oh my gosh, the world was in quarantine and stuff.
I know that I had several weeks that were really bad in May.
Okay.
But I had good days too, but I can't specifically say what they were, but there were days when I knew I was back on track. But for what it's worth, as of this week, I really feel like I'm back on track.
Okay.
I really do. I've started taking those pills that I started in May of 2018 when I started the weight loss thing. And I started with those pills I told you about. I gave you paperwork on it.
Yeah, the caffeine.
I haven't been taking those for a year.
Yeah.
But I've still maintained my weight. I've been doing good. But I thought, well, I don't know why they were successful, because I can't tell that much difference when I take them and when I don't.
Yeah.
But I decided, since I have 6 months here that I've already paid for, I might as well use them. I'd try them again.
You sound like me. Well, I have a supplement, so I guess I have to use it.
Well, no, I'm just thinking, I lost 70 pounds with it, in 2018. Now I've been off for a year. I haven't gained any much. I'm pretty much the same thing I was. So my thoughts were, if I get back on that, I might take that last 20, 30 pounds off without too much. But I have felt more on track. I've been more honest with my fitness pile.
Okay.
With my food than I've been being. Okay. And I'm trying to be more accountable to myself.
Okay.
In that.
Good.
That happened in June. That happened in June. I can't claim that for May, because May really was a wash. I'll tell you what.
That's okay. I know that. Like, so what I'm saying is, like, today may be all over the place because of where we're coming from. So it's fine. All right. Well, that's good though. I mean, at least you're being more honest. You're working on MyFitnessPal stuff, because that's your goal for right now. Your goal is nutrition stuff. So that's good. And you guys started working out again recently. So those are all really good wins. Okay. So, based on those couple of things, and maybe some other things that happened in the process, how do you feel that you progress toward your bigger goals? So maybe in the back of your mind for a second, think about what your like bigger goals are. How did what you accomplished in May or early June help kind of move the needle toward those bigger goals? How do you
Back
think
on track
in the long
with the
term?
gym.
Go ahead.
Get back on track with the gym and the dojo and stuff, you know,
Yeah.
That's it.
because, you know, you guys push us in karate class, but we don't push ourselves that much
At home.
at home. You know,
Yeah.
we do it, but we don't push ourselves like you do in karate class.
Yeah. Well, being in an environment where you have people that are, one, holding you accountable, but two, like you said, like pushing you along, helps with like physical activity, but it also helps even with like with goal setting and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's really hard to like, if you have a goal in mind, like if your goal is black belt, it's really hard to keep pushing toward that if you don't have other people around you who either like are black belts and who've accomplished that goal, or people who are on the same path. So I get it.
Right.
Like having other people there is really helpful. And it's the same thing with like nutrition or with lifts and stuff. If you have people around you who are either on the same path or who have already gotten to that end goal, like my client Zelda did nutrition for a while, and we reached a point where she reached her goal and we cut off, and like she still maintains, but you know, she reached that point. So it's cool for other people that work out with her, because they're able to see like kind of how she went through it, and they're able to, you know, maybe use that as inspiration or whatever. So yeah, totally agree. Being around people that are on the same path as you or have already reached that goal, that's huge. Marlene, what about with you? How do you feel about some of the things that have happened in May, early June? How do you feel like that's moved the needle toward what your end goal is?
Just basically the same thing is you know, making myself get back in the gym.
Yeah.
Even though I really don't, I'm not the one who really wants to go. Jack's a gym rat. He really is, and he needs that.
Yeah.
Me, I go because he goes, and I want to support what we do together.
Yeah.
Same thing with the karate. It helps me to feel like I'm going to get down to that 160 that I was looking to try to hit and maintain and go from there.
And she looks forward to hitting me when I'm not looking in karate.
To hitting you. Oh, okay. All right. So that's Marlene's ultimate goal, is to hit Jack. Okay. So now thinking back to May one more time. So what worked well in May for you as far as health and fitness, whatever? Now, granted, it was a different time back then, and things were much different as the setup, but what worked well and what didn't work well?
Being home, I don't mind being shut up at home. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. A lot of people go stir crazy.
Yeah.
Me, I worked most of my life, Lauren.
Yeah.
I started when I was 16 years old, and I never quit until I was 62. So, and I mean, we're talking long days. We're talking being business for myself for 15 years. I mean, I have worked my life. Okay. And so when I retired, I'm very happy to stay home.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not one of these stir crazy or fixing to, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but being home did keep me from being able to be faithful to what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
The goals.
Gotcha.
I wasn't motivated like I am when I'm out and about.
Gotcha. Okay. So
I'm happy.
staying home maybe
I'm
different.
happy, but I'm not motivated.
Yeah.
I'm being motivated to do the right thing every day.
Okay. All right. So staying home obviously did not work well for you. Jack, any things that worked well or didn't work well for you in May?
Well, I don't know as much as May, but right now, breaking everything down. Like you said the other day, I eat a lot for breakfast.
Yeah.
Well, I broke everything down that if I put jelly or butter or whatever on the toast or whatever, I broke all that down.
Yeah.
So that,
And your protein shake.
and you could really see a difference in the calories where, you know, I wasn't noticing I was getting that, but I was. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that does make a big difference. Hey, one thing to remember about MyFitnessPal is that once you log it in there, if you have a typical amount of food that you're eating, or you have certain things you typically eat for breakfast, as long as you're consistent with the amounts that you're eating, you can actually just kind of scroll down in MyFitnessPal and just check what you ate. So once you go through that meticulous process of putting the amounts, choosing the exact brand, all that kind of stuff, it's still there in the database. So once you start typing it in, it should pop right up. So that should make it easier for you. And you can also make meals.
I tried that the other day. I seen on you had posted it on Facebook
Mhm.
how to do it. So I tried it, and without watching you do it and trying to do it,
Mhm.
I just kept going back and forth, and finally I figured it out.
Yeah. The
But then I
recipes one is
figured
a
out how
little
to
bit
erase,
more go ahead.
I couldn't figure out how to erase something.
Oh,
I did
okay.
that.
It wouldn't leave the page.
I figured it out though. So I got it all.
The recipes option is a little bit more complicated because it breaks it into portion sizes. But if you make a meal, that's actually another one. I can post that one up soon too. I have it on there, but I'll go find it. There's actually an option on MyFitnessPal to make meals. So you can do that as well if you have different things that you normally put together. And it's not necessarily a recipe, but it's a meal that you eat. That's another one. So I'll put that up there too. Okay, so sorry, did you have something else?
I cook once a week and then package all that stuff up in containers.
Okay.
So, and everything's weighed,
We measured and weighed.
pre-measured and everything, so that all you gotta do is pull it out of the refrigerator, stick it in the microwave, and it's done.
Well, that helps with the portion thing on the recipe, so that shouldn't be a problem for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's another question. So one more time, kind of relating back to May, but looking forward. So what will you commit to starting or continuing in June?
I'm gonna start doing more cardio. I'm gonna start walking the field over here when it quits raining.
Okay,
I want to start doing that at least twice a day.
that's good. Okay. And sometimes doing that after your meals is a good option because it just helps with sugar reuptake and all that kind of stuff. And with being diabetic, that can be a big help.
Right. We can walk up down the street here for that.
Mhm.
But I figured that's gonna help because I mean, I do stuff around the house, but I'll do something and then I get tired and sit down for a little bit,
Yeah.
and I'll go do something again and get up tired, sit down for a little bit.
Yeah.
Now my tile job's done, so I don't have that for excuse no more.
Yeah.
So I can get this other stuff done.
You have to have some other cardio other than moving tile.
Right.
All right, Marlene, anything you're going to commit to starting or continuing in June?
Well, that's what I talked about a little bit ago was starting back on that supplement that is supposed to, help. It's supposed to burn the fat that's not the outside fat, but the fat that's around the organs and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to, okay? And so that and being like in the very beginning, I was meticulously honest in MyFitnessPal.
Yeah.
And as time goes on, I got real lax and sometimes I don't even put anything in at all. I mean, I do, but I don't tell the truth on all of it.
Okay.
That my goal or my commitment this week has been to get back on that pill, which I started yesterday.
Okay.
And try to have that same mindset of I'm just starting. I need to be meticulous and thorough and honest.
Yeah.
On it.
Yeah. Well, the honesty is going to be the biggest part. And it's not like, I don't know how you're thinking about it, but don't beat yourself up over it because it happens to everybody. Sometimes it's just almost like you have a goal, but maybe it kind of gets on the back burner. So like how much attention you're paying to it and how much truth you're using in the process, like it just kind of goes on the back burner, not because you have bad intentions. It's just you're thinking about other things. So yeah, that's awesome that you're thinking about being more honest with it and just paying more attention to it. Even if there are days where you're not as meticulous, at least you're trying to take an honest look at what you're eating and how it's going to affect your long-term goals. So, I mean, that's a fantastic mindset to have for June.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do is get back to that beginning where, you couldn't put anything in my mouth if it wasn't what was good for me at that time. You couldn't get a chip in my mouth. Now I have trouble leaving them alone. So.
Yeah. Well, it's all about balance anyway.
But it's okay because I've still except for the 2 pounds I put on during the 6 weeks, I've done well. I've maintained from a year now. So that's good.
Yeah.
Even with all the ups and downs, and we've had some bad ones this past year. So
yeah,
I'm very pleased with that. But my idea now is to just get more dedicated like I was in the beginning and try to get down to the 160.
Absolutely. All right. So last 2 questions. First one is, what are this month's top goals? So month of June, top goal or goals.
Get up to bench at 200.
Okay. How much are you benching right now?
100 pounds. 100 pounds.
You're benching more than that. You talking about 200 for one or 200 for reps?
200 to bench, 200. To back up to 200 benching. I was benching 200 when all this stuff happened.
Okay.
And then now it's like it's not there no more.
So you're saying you're just benching 100 right now because you're being safe and not going up?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, there's
slow.
no way you're only benching 100 pounds.
I'm taking it slow.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want
Hurt himself.
I don't want to be able to be in karate and be like, oh, I can't move this way, I can't move that way. So
Yeah.
we're taking it easy. This is like the third week we've been doing 20 sets of lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Hey, just a thought on, well, actually, you know, we'll talk about that in a second, but okay. So your goal is 200 pounds or 200 pound bench. And then Marlene, do you have any goals for June?
Not so much in the exercise thing. I just kind of copy what he does, but more like in 10 and 20 pounds. You know, whatever he does, and I work out with him behind him, and but I keep the weight consistent for me because I'm not trying to build muscle so much as I am to tone, and that's which
with her, we have to use the rubber bands and stuff because there's a lot of times that she'll say, "Oh, this hurts, that hurts." That's okay. Well, then we can switch it up, and we'll use the rubber band instead, and it won't be so bad on her.
Yeah. Well, do remember, Marlene, that toning technically is actually building muscle and losing fat. So essentially you are building muscle, but remember, women can't really get bulky because we just don't have the hormone profile for it. So as long as you're not hurting, it's okay to try to build muscle. If it's uncomfortable and it's hurting your joints, then you have to take a different route, but it's okay.
I haven't felt it in my joint. Mostly in, like, I guess, I don't know what this is, but this part here, if I put too much weight on this arm right now, it hurts right here and in my neck. So I probably need to go to the chiropractor, to be honest with you. But anyway, that's the only reason I'm doing light. And like I said, like you said, the toning is what we strive to do as women.
Okay. And any other goals? And I mean, as far as
I want to learn to do lunges because I don't think I do them right, and I'm not very good at all with them. In fact, they're kind of scary to me because I feel like I'm losing my balance.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to work on lunges. I saw you have something on the internet for that, so I'm going to look at that. And I want to practice karate at home. I want to not just do karate in the class. I want to start practicing karate at home and make a time for it so I don't say no.
Okay. And do you guys have any big goals related to, like, so your end goal with, you know, coaching and all that kind of stuff is like weight loss and obviously, you know, being more fit, all that kind of stuff. Do you have anything specifically related to those topics, or are those kind of just like, You understand what I'm asking?
Yeah, I thought that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Well, kind of, yeah. But so you're kind of giving me like offshoots of that sort of. So like you're saying you want to learn how to do lunges and all that kind of stuff. So I guess my question is, do you have any specific goals related to nutrition or weight loss for the month of June?
Not so much weight loss as it's training, is to improve posture and stance and stuff like that.
Okay.
And karate. Being able to, like Jeremiah showed me the other day, a horse stance, and then be able to move quicker out of that horse stance into that thing for Jion.
Yeah.
With the side of your palm.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, practicing stuff like that.
Okay.
Basically just trying to improve, you know, get better. I tell you, like I told her the other day, I said, all the black belts in there, and you watch them move compared to what I move, it's like, damn, what a difference.
They've been training for a lot of years, Jack.
Yeah.
All right. So the reason I'm trying to pull these bigger goals out of you is because of the next question. So you can kind of come back to this question if you have to. So the last question is, what are some high impact tasks that you need to accomplish to move towards your bigger goals for June? So for an example, I'm just going to give you an example. If my goal for June was, I want to gain 5 pounds by the end of June, what are my high impact tasks I have to accomplish to move the needle maximally to get toward that 5 pounds? 5 pounds is a lot to gain for me, so it's not as likely it's going to happen, but the most bang for my buck things could be, I start taking a mass gainer shake every day, even though it's really hard to get that down, or at least 3 days a week. It's more likely for me that I'll drink that 3 days a week. Maybe another goal for me is I prioritize strength training 3 days a week. I have to make sure that I get in a workout 3 days a week. So that's the second. So those are 2 high impact tasks. So for me, taking a mash gainer shake, working out 3 times a week. I'll say another high impact task if I'm trying to gain 5 pounds by the end of June is I'm going to prioritize my recovery by making absolutely sure I get at least 8.5 hours of sleep every night. So that's kind of how we're going to take like your bigger goals and kind of break them down. So let's see. You guys had some goals. So like Jack, for example, your goal was you want to bench 200 pounds by the end of June. I'm assuming you mean for 1 rep. So
Yeah.
a couple things you can do is like, one, obviously you don't want to hurt yourself, like you said. So you can't just bench every single day. You've got to make sure you're monitoring your recovery as well. So
Right.
maybe you're not going to train chest every day, but maybe you're training it 3 times a week because you still want to have enough of a stimulus to increase your strength so that you're at 200 pounds by the end of the month.
That's
And
what we're
maybe you're
doing.
also varying the number of repetitions, because if you're wanting to gain strength, the lower repetition range is going to be where you're finding most of your strength gains. But then you once again want to monitor your recovery, so you've got those higher rep days. So you're doing your 20 sets or 20 rep sets on some days, and on some days you're getting into those lower repetition ranges and just doing like maybe 1 to 4 repetitions in a set, because you want to see how high you can push that number. And maybe you're only doing that once a week because you have to be able to recover. But those are some high impact tasks. Those are high impact tasks for you. It's going to be like, I'm going to do a low repetition range bench session 1 day a week between 1 and 4 reps, so that I can try to push that number up and see how close I can get to 200. And then on my other days, I'm going to do my higher reps to make sure I'm monitoring my recovery. Does that kind of make sense?
Yes.
You don't have to do it that way, but I'm just saying that's an example.
No, that's the way I do it.
Okay.
Basically, that's the way we do it.
Perfect.
And then I like when I press it up, I take my time bringing it down real slow.
Mm-hmm.
And then slam it up as hard as I can,
Yeah.
and down real slow.
That's good. Well, that's also good for your karate stuff too.
Pardon me?
That's actually good for your karate development, or your karate stuff as well, because that's a power type movement. So you're actually training, your speed in movement. You're increasing the amount of power output you're doing whenever you move weight really fast.
Right.
So that has a positive transfer towards sports, in your case, karate. So it's going to be good.
Cool. I also want to improve my kicks,
Okay.
because I know they're crap.
Yeah. So if you're going to work on something like that, so some of your high impact tasks could be, okay, I know that I need to maybe train kicks more frequently. Let's say, I mean, Jack, you're training every single day, or just about every day, but let's say that you weren't. So if you were training at home, and Marlene, maybe you can think about this too, because you want to train at home. Maybe you are going to set specific times that you're going to work on whatever that technique is. Or maybe it's lunges, Marlene. Maybe you're really trying to work on getting better at lunges. You're going to maybe pick like 2 to 3 days a week, and you're going to set aside maybe 15 minutes, and you're going to try to work on that technique based on, whatever feedback you got in class, whatever feedback you got from whoever's watching you do lunges, whatever. You're going to work on that for 15 minutes, let's say Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Maybe that's what works out for you. I don't know. But that's another way. If you're going to work on something technical like that, you could break it down into extra time to work on that. Or maybe, Jack, in your case, since you come to class every day, if you want to work on your kicks, a great thing for karate students is you're already in class, so it's easier for you to stay consistent. Before class starts, you go ahead and use those couple minutes during the warm-up to actually work on that technique. So while you're on the floor and we're waiting for class to start, or you're out in the lobby, you can work through some of the technical aspects of that kick to try to improve it. Like I know that sounds a little elementary, but those types of tasks are what's going to move the needle toward the big goal. If you want to improve your kicks, you got to set aside time to work on your kicks. Does that kind of make sense?
And he does come almost 15, 20 minutes early.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. He's there early. So you can take advantage of that time and just, I mean, and you don't even have to go fast. Just do a few slow repetitions of the kick and just get used to working on some of those aspects. You'll actually see that a lot of the seasoned black belts, you see them out there like moving around and stuff. Sometimes that's what they're doing, is they're working on technical things that they're trying to improve in their own training. They're doing it before class. They're using it as a primer before class starts. And then during the class, they're continuing to work on that idea. So they're conscious of whatever it is they're working on as they're going through class.
Right.
Right. Okay. And then Marlene, you said your stuff was like lunges, and I know that we kind of talked about that. Were there any other big goals for you? I'm sorry, I can't remember right offhand.
I want to concentrate on trying to get back down. I mean, start losing weight again.
Yeah.
Quit maintaining and start losing again. That's
Gotcha.
my goal. My immediate changing goal.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and you're working on, you know, being consistent with MyFitnessPal. So with that one, some of your like specific tasks would be, you know, maybe you're going to maybe you only want to log your food once a day because it's just too much of a hassle. So maybe you're setting aside a time every day to log everything you eat, or maybe you're being more specific and you're doing it at the end of every meal. Those are some things to think about. Like, essentially scheduling is going to be the biggest thing. Anytime you're going to try to accomplish a task, you have to cut it out in your schedule that you're going to do this thing. If you can be super specific, even if you miss that, you know, if your goal is I'm going to log my food after every meal, oh crap, I missed breakfast. It's okay that you missed one because you can make up for it with the next one. But if you're carving that time out of your schedule and being very intentional about accomplishing those tasks, even if you miss even a third of them, you're still making a huge change in the overall scheme of things. If you even think about the amount of time, you know, if you're spending, let's say, Jack, you're coming to class 4 days, let's say 4 days a week, and you're spending 10 minutes on front kick before class, that's 40 minutes over the course of a week. That's 120, or that's 160 minutes for the month. Okay. So that's, I don't know how many hours is that. That's like 2 hours and 40 minutes or something for the month. It's a lot of kicking, but it's a lot of time of very deliberate practice to move the needle forward. So maybe think that too. You know, I actually, I use Google Calendar, and I am having to set goals for myself too, because I have some things that I want to get done, and there's just not, I don't have it on my schedule. And because I don't have it on my schedule, it doesn't get done. Like cleaning my house. I want to have a decluttered space, but if I don't take the time to do it, then it's not going to get done. So I actually am using, there's a goal setting option on Google Calendar where you can select, you can create a goal, and it will, for me, it's just finding times in my calendar and setting that goal for me. The other option is that you can go in and like on the app, I'm going in and I'm setting specific times for certain goals. You don't obviously have to use an app, but I just want you to think about that for your goal setting stuff. Make sure that you're setting a time, sticking to it as best you can. And if you miss one time slot that you set for yourself, screw it and then just pick it up the next time.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you guys have any more questions or any comments or anything?
Not really.
Okay. Well, hopefully that was helpful. The whole idea is this, like, I'm not a very good, like, global thinker. I think in specifics. Jeremiah is the global thinker, so it's easier for me. It's easier for him to do this kind of thing. I actually have to do stuff like this in order to be able to see the end goal. Otherwise, I get lost in all the details. So if you guys are like that, hopefully this was helpful. And we'll kind of do this same thing at the beginning of next month. Next week, we're going to maybe focus on some extra nutrition stuff. If we get some more people on the call, we'll talk some more about their stuff, since we're talking about your stuff every week anyhow. But you guys have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. And I guess I'll see y'all on Monday.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.